Today's video is brought to you by eWin Racing, the best source for gaming chairs and desks for those long gaming sessions. We have a playlist of our eWin chair and desk videos linked in the video description below. Save 30% off of everything using the discount code TECHDEALS. More details at the end of the video. How much do you think the 950, the GTX 950 launched for?
Probably something similar. If the 1050 2 gig was 109.
The 950 launched for 159.
159?
What do you think the 750 launched for? The 750 launched for the 650.
Oh, here we go.
The GTX 650 launched for 109, and the 750 launched for 119. Now, I have a point to this. 250 is not $100. 250 is 2.5 times the 1050's price.
Yep.
Sure, we've had inflation. Prices have gone up. It's got 8 gigs of VRAM. Yay. They ditched the TI card and just came out with one. If you want, you could compare it to the 1050 Ti, which was $139. Denveris says you often didn't find the 4 gig card for under $149. Well, you're not going to find the 3050 for $249 either, but yeah, it happens. 100 and 150 is about what I remember them being at. I still have my cards from back then. I bought a EVGA 1050 and 1050 Ti. I've used them many times in benchmarks and videos over the past 5 years. I still have both those original cards that ever sold them. They're really handy too because they didn't have a 75-pin PCI Express power connector.
No, you just...
Ian comments that the 1050 was on a much cheaper process. Yeah, normal people don't care. That's the kind of argument that technical people make and reviewers make. I'm not trying to make you wrong, but Joe Blow, who looks at the 50 series of cards over the past 8 years, doesn't care. There's been a $100 card for a very long time. Just for fun.
Avocado lattes?
Just for fun.
Just for fun. Derek. Thanks, Derek.
The 256 megabyte 8800 GT in 2007 was $199. The 512 megabyte part was $250. Wasn't there an 8800 GS? I remember there being a card just below that. 170. Was there one below that? 384 meg card, 170. Yeah, that was 170.
GTS?
No, that was more. A weird product name back then.
GTX? Ultra?
The 8600 GTS was 110.
GTS, there it is.
The 8800s are more.
GTS? Sounds like a car.
By the way, the current card has 2,560 shaders on it.
They've got 2 different GTSs. That's that's not confusing.
8600.
Oh, that yeah.
It had 32 shaders on it.
Oh wow.
The 8800 GTS had 96.
And then there's
the 8800. I had this card and it was just awesome at the time. It made the 600 and 7. It made the 6000 and 7000 series just obsolete. That was a good card. So 115 for the GT, 170 for the 8800 GS, and then 110 for Look at that. It's $60 difference, and you go from 32 shaders to 96 shaders.
For $60?
You go from 256 megabytes to 384 megabytes.
128-bit bus to 192.
Yeah, that's how they got 384, which was a weird number. That doesn't make any sense. But you know, the lower end cards never made any sense. Buy at least in the mid-range or don't.
Oh, wow.
But look at this. If you jump from 170 to 260, for example, the shaders don't change. See 96 to 96. But you go from 12 render output processors to 20. You go from 384. You actually go down to 320. But if you paid 350, you got more. But look at the memory bus bandwidth.
320.
That's a lot more memory bandwidth, even at the smaller size.
Denver said up until 2 years ago, we used the 8800 GTS for an HTPC.
Fun fact, even Intel's integrated graphics beat these old cards.
Really?
Yeah, the Intel, the lovely high-performance Intel integrated graphics makes an 8800 GT go, whoa! Well, these are 15 years old. What do you expect? Mm-hmm. But my point is, we traditionally have had a $100 card people could buy.
No, not anymore.
Now the entry-level card is $250, $350 in reality.
William, Mr. Regal, thank you. He says he's going to buy his brother a 3050, coming from a 9060 and an i3 10100F. A 960 to a 3050?
If that's a GTX 960, which I assume, yeah, that's a good improvement. The 8800 GS came out in 2008, though. 2007, 2008, they're both 15 years ago.
A long time ago. A few sleeps.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Now, fun fact, speaking of refreshes, the 8000 series was the first unified shader architecture from NVIDIA. The Tesla architecture. Uh-huh. The 8000 series was refreshed to the 9000 series, which was refreshed to the 100 series for OEM, which was refreshed to the 200 series, like the GTX 285 and stuff. All the same Tesla architecture. It wasn't, I think the 300 series was mostly OEM. It was 400 and 500 that were Fermi, which were hot and a mess. And then 600 and 700 were Kepler. 900 was Maxwell. 10 series was
Pascal.
Pascal, thank you. You do pay attention.
Oh, I just remember, it's burned into my brain.
You're so awesome.
Jensen going, for all the Pascal people, it's time. I remember that.
And then Ampere for 20 series.
Yep.
And then the 30 series...
What is the 30 series?
What is the 30 series? I don't remember anymore. Man, this past year has just ruined me.
Ian wants to know how it's been streaming on TNN without the demands of the main channel. It's been quiet. We're at 140, 139, so it's been quiet. So go tell your friends. Tell them to come and hang out.
Mondo says the 9800 GT was my baby. Yes, my 480 was a toaster. Bloody Fermi. You know, the interesting thing is the 980 GT was a really nice refresh of the 8800. The power...
You did like the 980.
The power... No, the 9800.
Oh, 9800. Oh, that's different.
I own both of those, actually. I had an 8800 GT, and I also ended up with a 9800 GT, and... What was interesting about it is it was a process shrink, and they refreshed. It was kind of like going, from an RX 480 to an RX 580. They cleaned up the cards. They reduced the power consumption a bit. They improved the process. They were more reliable.
Yeah, everyone liked the 580.
They had a price drop. Yeah, the 580s were great. The 480s were okay, but the 580s were awesome. The 9800 GTs, they ran cool, they ran quiet, they were reliable as dirt. And
Is Ampere the 30 series?
Oh.
Turing 20 series?
Yes.
I was wondering. My brain was filing through the...
I'm just going to let you talk.
You're just going to let me talk?
I'm just going to be quiet. It's been one of those days, folks.
It has been.
We were debating even streaming earlier, and the only reason I did is because the 3050 is a big deal, and this is newsworthy, and the benchmark's leaked, and it's worth talking about. I kind of just wanted to crawl up on the couch and watch a movie with you.
Oh, that sounds nice. We still can.
But we're here for all these
we're
beautiful...
30 minutes in.
We're here for all these beautiful people because...
We are.
This is news. This is a big deal. And so...
Oh, William, thank you. I just wanted to send $10. Love the channels for supporting Instagate. Well, thanks for the Aussie Tim Tams, mate. We appreciate that. Thank you. Have a Tim Tam for us, will ya?
Yeah.
Mando says he only upgraded for Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, there will be a game that you want to upgrade for. 3 different GTX 460s that had memory issues.
Fermi sucked.
Remember you saying you didn't like that?
I had a Rivia TNT 2 card. I never had the original Rivia TNT. I had a Rivia TNT 2. I had a GeForce 2 MX, which was not a real GeForce 2, but that's not important. Then I had a GeForce 3 something like a 440 Ti, I think it was. I don't really remember. It's been a long time, but I had a GeForce 3, and that was a nice upgrade over my GeForce 2 MX, which was a nice upgrade. The GeForce 2 MX wasn't the best card, but from a TNT2, that was a good card. I just couldn't justify at that point in my life. I was so busy doing some other stuff, and I couldn't justify the cost of a GeForce 256, which was the first GeForce card. But I got a GeForce 2 MX, and then I got the GeForce 3, which I kept actually for quite some time. I eventually replaced it with the GeForce 6 series. I skipped the 4, and I skipped the FX. They never actually had a 5 series. They just called it GeForce FX, and those sucked. The 6 cards were great. The 7 were okay. We skipped the 7, and then the 8000 came out and changed it. The 8000 series obsoleted everything overnight because, okay, quick history lesson for those of you who don't know. Prior to the ATI, this is before AMD bought them.
This is before, okay.
The ATI 2000 series, the HD 2000, was the unified, it was the terascale unified architecture where they went to unified reprogrammable shaders. This was the introduction of true GPU, general purpose graphical processing units, where it could be reprogrammed, and the shader units could basically, they were like cores. They could do different workloads. You could have 20% of the shaders doing textures, and 30% doing polygons, and 50% doing, lights and transform. Or you could have 50% doing polygons and 20% doing shaders. The workload was dynamic, and it changed based upon what you were doing in the scene. Prior to the 8000 series Tesla from NVIDIA, and prior to the HD 2000 series from AMD Terascale, they were fixed function hardware. Meaning, you got a certain number of T&L units, transform and lighting. You got a certain number of...
And you just had to make it all fit in those numbers.
The game companies had to make them fit. If you go back to the mid-2000s, 2003, 2004, 2005, all the 3D games on the PC all look the same. Because they were all using hardware that for example, if a card had 2 T&O units, then there was only so many lights and only so much stuff that could be done in any scene from the game developers, no matter what. And so every game started looking the same. And once the 8000 and HD 2000 series came out, then they could start getting... There's a defining moment, 2006, 2007, where games changed from a certain look to a new look. What's interesting about that is I said when the RTX cards launched back in 2018, the 20 series, this is this time's unified shader architecture. Ray tracing is going to be what changes the look of games. And Cyberpunk is the first game. I know. I mentioned Cyberpunk a lot. Some of you hate Cyberpunk. Fine. But it's the first game. I tried Control. I know somebody in chat earlier said that Control without ray tracing sucks. I played Control without ray tracing. Yeah, it looks better with ray tracing. I don't think it's necessary. It's nice. You can see it. But it's not, oh my God, it has to have ray tracing. Cyberpunk, I've seen multiple people comment. I've seen it on our Discord. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it here on YouTube. People go, what are you talking about? I played Cyberpunk on my GTX 1070 Ti. I played Cyberpunk on my AMD RX 5700 XT. It's fine. You haven't played Cyberpunk. That game with ray tracing on and off. Ray tracing off is a game. Ray tracing on is a movie.
Is an experience. I've seen both, and I wouldn't want to play it with it off. I mean, if you're playing a game, are you playing the game to experience it?
Well, in fairness, it does depend on the game.
But isn't that the whole reason why people play games, is to experience the game?
Does Overwatch need ray tracing?
Although there's some pretty cool...
Does Fortnite need ray tracing?
Fortnite probably not.
Fortnite doesn't need ray tracing.
No.
Minecraft is gorgeous with ray tracing.
Yes, Minecraft, yes.
Here's the thing. Johnny Silverhand inside... I'm not going to spoil the game if you haven't played it, but of course it's been out for a year. If you haven't played it, how much do you care? So Johnny Silverhand in Cyberpunk is basically Keanu Reeves' character, not from The Matrix, but from Johnny Mnemonic from 1995. Look, Cyberpunk is not a new IP. This is not something that they created. Cyberpunk has a series of comics and novels, and there was an existing lore to Cyberpunk before the game was created.
Right.
So they took that and created a game. But the way his character was portrayed very much feels like he's just reprising his Johnny Mnemonic role from that 1995 movie, which honestly was not a very good movie. It was interesting, but nobody would have cared. I mean, Keanu Reeves was okay in it, but Keanu Reeves plays Keanu Reeves in every movie he's in. He's you know, some actors just play themselves. Mm-hmm. Like if Tim Allen's in a movie, Tim Allen is Tim Allen in every movie. Mm-hmm. If Arnold Schwarzenegger's in a movie, he's Arnie. Even in Kindergarten Cop, he's picking up the children going, "Arr!" I mean, he's the same character in every movie. If Sylvester Stallone or Bruce Willis is in a movie, if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in a movie, all you see is The Rock. You know, like what was that movie Skyscraper we saw? When he had to rescue his family in the skyscraper?
Oh, yeah, that one.
He's just playing The Rock. Which is fine. You know what? If I go see a movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on the cover, I'm going because I want to see The Rock in a movie. Don't get cute. Don't change it. Don't. But we're going to subvert our expectations. Just let him do his thing. For example, Jumanji.
Jumanji.
It's him.
Yeah, it's
hang on. I don't obviously I can't do it the way he does, but he just goes. He does that so well.
The eyebrow lift.
The eyebrow lift.
Yes.
I love how he's like.
He does very good.
He does very good with that. Anyway, so Cyberpunk with ray tracing on is an experience, and that's an interactive movie. There's sort of a game. One of the reasons why people complain about Cyberpunk is because the game itself is kind of They're not wrong. It's a cinematic experience. It's the first time ray tracing is like, wow. And because known actors are in it, you feel kind of like you bought a ticket to a movie that you get to participate in. The actual interactive game portion of running around and doing stuff, if you're not playing that game for the story, you're playing it for the wrong reason. Which isn't what was promised when they first showcased it in 2018.
What'd they promise?
A different game.
A different game.
A lot of the features and promised abilities and promised interactive dynamic world doesn't exist. It's kind of a dead game and dead world. You go into it, and if you step 3 feet outside of the pre-scripted actions, you just stand there, and it's like you're like playing a test game. It's missing stuff. Fully 75% of the game world is blank. Not blank as in there's nothing there. Blank as in that there's nothing there. There's scenery and texture and terrain. There's this massive solar and wind farm, for example. Like truly large. Like you can spend tens of minutes just driving around in a car at high speed in it. There's 1 or 2 missions buried out there. There's nothing out there. It is... It's like they built this massive world and then forgot to fill it with things. But the story portion, if you just play it as a movie, I've got over 300 hours in the game. I've done 2 full runs through it, following 2 different tracks. There's actually 5 endings to the game. One of those was a completionist run. And that was kind of a waste of time. Because I discovered in doing the completionist run, it's just repetitive. There's better games to do 100% runs in. Go play Skyrim if you want to do a completionist run. Go play Fallout if you want to do a completionist run.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to do in Fallout.
Oh my god, Fallout's insane. And awesome. But we'll pretend 76 doesn't exist.
Yes.
So,
eWin Racing has a wide selection of chairs to fit all shapes and sizes of gamers, ranging from petite to cuddly. They have something for every type of gamer. Not just sizes, but colors and material options as well, including red, blue, purple, pink, orange, and more, plus cloth and leather choices. We have over half a dozen chair and desk videos in a playlist down in the video description below. We also have a very special offer just for Tech Deals viewers. Save 30% off of everything using discount code TechDeals using our link in the video description. We have used eWin gaming chairs for 3 years in our office, sitting on them for up to 8-hour marathon live streams. They are very comfortable, and we are happy to work with eWin to bring you this special discount and recommend eWin for all of your gaming chair and desk needs.